Ready, go.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another special edition On the Hunt with Alpen Optics. My name is Tyler, and joining me to my left is our very own Ryan Main, who is head and over our QC department and the head of pro staff coordinator. Here at Alpen Optics. Along joining us is Rick White, who is also our head staff pro coordinator. And again, stick around for our weekly special. Rick, how's it going? How's your day so far?
Doing fine, doing good. We got some crummy weather here again. We had snow just the other day after 3 days of 60-degree weather, and today, I don't know, about 33 and windy and rainy and just kind of a miserable day. I'm ready. I'm hitting the road tomorrow and heading south, and I'm ready, believe me.
There you go. There you go. So I'm excited about today's show. Today we're going to talk a little bit about, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit of turkey hunting. Well, a lot of turkey hunting, actually. We're going to talk a little preseason scouting. We're going to talk a little bit about archery hunting for turkeys, and of course, our weekly special, which is another great turkey-related item. So,
indeed,
we'll jump right into it with Ryan. You know, Ryan's sitting next to you there, and I know he's an employee over there. He's kind of my right-hand man when I need something done over there. So, thank you for that, Ryan. But tell me, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
My name's Ryan Main. Pretty much grew up Arkansas boy, deer hunt, turkey hunt, predator hunt, pretty much do everything. Then, for Alpen Optics, I work in the QC department. I help take care of the pro staff here, everything, just pretty much all over the place.
Yeah, he's my guy when I need orders to go out, and when I've got people that want to buy stuff and they call in, they usually talk to Ryan. He's the guy that'll take care of you. So good for that. But so let's talk a little bit about Arkansas turkey hunting. Now, I have personally never hunted in the state of Arkansas. I've hunted in a lot of states, but not Arkansas. But I do have a little bit of an understanding of what Arkansas brings to the table. And I know in the past 5 or 6 years, your turkey population is not as good as it used to be, especially in certain areas of the state. What are you looking at for the spring?
The spring, I mean, I've already got a couple turkeys located, but yeah, probably since, I would say that I've noticed since 2011, our turkey population has definitely gone down. I'm not seeing as many as I used to. Every once in a while, they'll come back and I'll see a bunch, but past few years, it's been pretty tough, especially on my end.
All right. Well, go ahead, Rick.
A lot of states are actually down a little bit. I know Missouri's turkey population has taken a little bit of a hit, but it's bouncing back. And here in Iowa, we're down a little bit, but the hunting's still pretty darn good. But some of it's weather related, whether it's wet springs or terrible winters like we had this year. Hard to say what happened with this last bit of weather we had, but you just never know. You hope for a good hatch, but it's all dependent on the weather. So, and of course, predators pays a little bit of number game there. But so what? Your season starts when here? Sometime in April, or
about around the middle of April. I gotta look and check the dates again, but it's usually around the 17th of April. Then it goes on for about 2 weeks.
Ryan,
and how many turkeys can you shoot down there?
What was that, Rick?
How many turkeys can you shoot down there?
You're allowed to.
You are, okay.
One a day.
So you're going to be hunting with a shotgun or a bow this year?
Usually I do shotgun, but this year I'm actually going to try to get one with a bow.
There you go. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about some preseason scouting. As you mentioned, you've already been out and located a couple. How how soon before you actually start scouting?
Generally, middle of March is usually when I start, because shed hunting and everything, and I just go out on the private properties I hunt, and then national forests. I just do a lot of walking, and if I see them, I just kind of make a mental note of that's where they're at. And about beginning of April, I'll go out and start crow calling and owl calling, just trying to find out where they're roosting.
Right. Now, one thing to keep in mind too, now there are a few states that actually do not allow you to actually turkey call prior to season. Most of them you can, but there are a few that you cannot run a turkey call. So make sure you check your rules and regulations before you go out and start calling to your turkeys. And the other thing I always tell people, if you are in a state that allows you to call and you want to go out and call before season, go to your best buddy's hunting spot and call his turkeys in. Leave yours alone.
So Ryan, what kind of calls do you prefer? Are there any calls that you don't use, and ones that you do use the most of?
Generally, anymore, I've kind of taken I don't use a vest anymore. I'll pretty much just put a handful of mouth calls, and I have my favorite slate call, and those go in my pocket, and that's pretty much all I take with me. I just kind of go light, just have my binos and my shotgun with me. But
now I know we're going to talk about archery here real quick with you and Rick, but let's jump over to shotguns real quick. What do you feel comfortable with at what range?
I mean, my first turkey I killed it at 10 feet. Then the last one I got was it was funny because it did not seem that far, but I shot it at anywhere between 68 and 70 yards, and it flopped about 10 yards and forwards, and that's where I ranged it. It was at 64 yards when I ranged it to the tree. Never would have taken that shot. It was a situation where it just happened really quick, and it just happened fast. So I made it a left-handed shot, probably about 68 yards, and dropped them.
Let me jump in there just a little bit on that. As traveling around and doing seminars and that, everybody, regardless of what you shoot, whether it's a bow or a gun, but whatever gun you shoot, there's so many different kinds of guns, there's so many different types of choke tubes, and there's so many different styles of shells. So you need to find what shoots best in your combination of whatever you're shooting. I certainly don't recommend people shoot turkeys. I generally say over 40 yards. Okay. I mean, certainly you can shoot and kill a turkey over 40 yards, and I've done it many times. But I like to let them come in. In fact, most of the turkeys that I shoot are within 20 yards and often within 15 yards, because if they're at 40 and they're coming in, just a matter of time before they're at 30 and then 20. And now the other thing, and maybe you've done this, Ryan, I've actually missed turkeys that were too close. And that sounds a little bit silly, but with our choke tubes nowadays and how tight they shoot, you've got to be on the money. And I've had turkeys, like you say, about 7 yards, 7 steps, and I've missed them. So when I started missing like that, the first thing I did, I either put a scope or red dot. I've got one of my Benellis that I love my red dot on there, and it allows me to give a precise point of aim. And I miss very few turkeys anymore. I don't know if that's some of your experiences as well, or
well, so far I have not missed a turkey I've taken a shot at.
Well,
so
there
far.
You go. You shouldn't have said that.
But I mean, I've called them in pretty close where I needed to move just a little bit to get a better shot and spooked them. But so far, I know it's going to happen eventually. But so far, I have not missed one. But I've been with people where, I mean, nowadays, I mean, the choke tubes, they shoot so tight that I mean, you gotta know you gotta know your gun and your ammo for sure.
Yeah, nobody likes to miss, but I tell people if you hunt long enough, sooner or later you will miss, and it's no fun, but it does happen, and it's part of turkey hunting, and you just got to move forward you learn from your mistakes. And that's the other thing I tell people too. You know, I can stand up here. I've got a lot of experience in the turkey woods. Do I know everything? No, absolutely not. But I have made so many mistakes over the years, and I've learned from those mistakes. And I believe that's what's made me a better turkey hunter. Yes, my guns and my choke tube and my shells and my sights and got all those, you know, fine tuned but there's still some human error in there. But, you know, when that turkey comes in and he's out there at 20 or even 50 yards, I don't know about you, but my heart's pounding, and I get pretty excited, and sometimes that'll cause you to miss. So, you know, you just have to kind of relax, and it's not easy to do.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, especially when they are really close and start gobbling, and especially when they're drumming really close to you. Yeah, you kind of in a way get kind of like buck fever to a point. But yeah, it's definitely will get your heart pumping.
So
now,
Rick,
now do you hunt out of blinds at all, or are you usually just sitting up next to a tree, or a little of both, or what?
I've hunted out a blind before. Majority of the time, I'm just kind of running and gunning. I'll sit by a tree first thing in the morning. Then if they're not where I think they were, I'll just kind of walk around and just locate. Then I've actually found out it was 2 years ago. I was doing a little of predator hunting and turkey hunting. And I found out you can make a turkey gobble by doing a coyote howl. I've done it before. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've done it many times myself. Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan. You had a question, I think. Or
that's all right, Rick. I've been called worse. So I noticed
I'm talking to Ryan, and I called you Ryan. Sorry, Tyler.
It's the beard.
Yeah, I mean, but no, I saw in the picture that we just showed had a lot of decoys, or had some decoys in it. Now I know some decoys play effect on getting the birds in, but what do y'all recommend as far as decoys, as placement? Is there specific types that you need to get? I mean, you got any suggestions for the audience out there?
There's so much information. I could spend an hour talking about decoys, so I'll try to just kind of sum it up. I think the footage you were watching was a bow hunt, some bow hunting footage that I put in. And when I'm bow hunting turkeys, I use decoys 100% of the time. Now, when I'm hunting field edges, I use decoys pretty much most of the time. If I'm hunting in timbers and it's open, sometimes I use decoys, but most of the time when I'm in the timbers, I'm not really using decoys, especially when you're in dense timbers. I use decoys very little. But when I'm using decoys, I like to use a hen and a jake, or maybe two hens and a jake. Just depends on the mood that I'm in. I don't find that one really works better than the other, other than, you know, if I use two hens, I'll have a feeder and maybe like a lookout one that's standing, or maybe even one that's in a breeder position. Again, it just depends what the turkeys are doing at the time. Now, when I'm bow hunting, I put my decoys very close. I hunt out of a blind most of the time because it allows me not only to film, but to draw my bow and get away with some of that movement that I need to get away with. So I put my decoys at about 7 steps, within 10 yards, really close. And I always point my jake directly at me, because most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, if a gobbler comes in, he's going to go to the jake and he's going to go head to head. And what that'll do is that'll bring a gobbler in, and he'll be looking straight away from me, allowing me to draw my bow and possibly get away with a little bit of movement when I need it most. When I'm gun hunting, I put my decoys out 15, maybe 20 yards at most. And again, they're going to go to that jake almost all the time. And I want to make sure that I have a clear shot to that jake. Now, when talking about safety and you hunting over decoys, make sure that you can see a fair distance beyond your decoys in a straight line, because a straight line is the only way that you could get shot if someone snuck in and shot one of your decoys. Okay, so you want to be able to see any approaching danger. Don't get on a knoll and set them right up on the knoll and really not know what's on the other side. I've probably told this story before, but years ago when decoys were first legalized in the state of Iowa, I had a jake and a hen set up, and I actually had a hunter sneak in and shot one of my decoys. And on top of everything else, he shot my hen decoy. So there's some crazy things that happen in the turkey woods. So you just want to make sure that you're being pretty cautious when it comes to safety. Ryan, what do you use? You like your decoys?
Pretty much all I use is a Jake and a hen. It's when I'm turkey hunting, I try to pack light, but I've had a lot of good success with just the Jake and hen decoy.
You know, and one of the other things about decoys, not like when decoys first came out in the 70s and early 80s when I was starting to use them, because they looked pretty raggedy. But nowadays, the better looking the decoy is, the better they actually work, believe it or not. They'll come in closer, and they'll hang around longer. I like the Avian X's. I have a lot of good luck with those, and I've got a couple of taxidermied turkey decoys that actually Callie Morris has done, and they both work excellent. And there's a lot of other, I think, good ones out there. But when you're looking at them, look to see which one you feel is the most realistic, because I think the more realistic they are, the better they work.
Makes sense.
Don't be afraid to shoot. You'll shoot them once in a while, and some of those get pretty darn expensive when you got to replace them. But that's part of it too. So
Ryan, what got you into hunting?
Oh,
You've been an Arkansas boy of your whole life. I mean, so have I. But what really got you into hunting?
my dad and my grandpas. They were pretty much grew up taking me fishing, taking me hunting, and just kept on doing it. It's really just a lifestyle for me, just fishing and hunting all year long.
There you go. Now I know we're going to jump a little bit back to shotguns. Ryan, I know Rick said that he uses red dots, but do you use red dots when you go turkey?
I've never used a red dot on a shotgun. I've just used the sights. It just comes with. But I've not opposed to putting a red dot on one.
When you get to be my age and your eyesight starts going away, you'll resort to a scope for a red dot. Trust me.
Yeah,
makes sense. It makes sense.
So
what about turkey vests, guys? What do you guys put in your turkey vests? Do you put anything specific in it other than just calls? Do you use minos, or what do you guys put in your turkey vest when you go out to the hunt?
I guess with my turkey vest, really it'd be I just have kind of like a bino pack that I'll either put my mouth calls in it or in my pocket. And then my slate call, I'll put it in my big pocket on my pant legs, and that's pretty much all I take with me.
What about you, Rick?
Now myself, I'm a little different. You know, I was kind of like Ryan back when I first started turkey hunting. I went to the turkey woods with a shotgun and one box call. That's what I went with. And nowadays, you know, us call manufacturers, we'll tell people, you know, you got to have 10 different calls in your vest. Well, you really don't, but you want multiple calls in your vest, because those turkeys out there generally respond to one call versus another, and you want to kind of toy around and find what that is. Like they may not gobble at anything until you pick up that box call and run it, and they gobble at that box call. You might as well set your other calls down and use that box call. So multiple calls. I always have an owl hooter. I have a crow call, maybe a coyote holler. I always have a knife with me. You never know when you're going to need a knife.
Yeah.
And I also, have a bottle of water. But when I'm hunting down south, you can bet I've got a thermocell in my pack as well, because those mosquitoes are absolutely terrible, and I can't tolerate mosquitoes.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's some other things. Take a pen and paper, piece of paper with you. Some states you have to write down and check in your turkey after you shoot it. Some you apply a tag to. Some you just have to write it down. So make sure you've got that stuff. I put them in a little baggie so they stay dry. And, there's lots of other things. My rangefinder, my binoculars are always in my vest. Extra turkey steaks. Seems like you can't take enough to the turkey woods nowadays.
Yeah, and it looks like Ryan brought a toy, brought us something to show, a little show and tell here. So Ryan, why don't you kind of go over what you got there? It looks pretty.
This is my Matthews VXR 28. It's the best bow I've owned. But basically, I just was going to ask you, Rick, pretty much what was your setup for turkey hunting, bow hunting wise?
Well, I also shoot a Matthews and have for many years, and I've got the VXR as well. It's a great bow. But what I do So, a lot of people change things up from deer season to turkey season. I don't. I shoot the same setup. Now, could you drop your poundage down? I shoot nowadays about 65, 66 pounds, and you could drop your poundage down if you want. That's perfectly fine. But I shoot mine all the same. I leave it just the same. And I like mechanicals for turkeys. But a fixed blade is good too, but you want to be able to shoot whatever shoots the best for you, is most accurate. But I've had such good luck with mechanical blades. Of course I shoot a caliper release, and I'm shooting Easton arrows. I like my Easton arrows, and I shoot 100 grain broadhead. So, but the other thing to be thinking about, the other thing to be thinking about is when you are bow hunting turkeys and you're ready to take that shot placement on a turkey. A lot of people will try to shoot them. They shoot them in the breast, which actually does really no good. The turkey may die, but they're very hard to find. And a lot of bow hunters will lose turkeys. If you'll shoot them straight up the leg and about halfway into the turkey, just go straight up that leg, you'll get them every time. Or if they're walking away from you, or if they're strutting, perhaps a Texas heart shot is another great shot. I used to shoot them right where the beard was, straight on. I don't do that anymore. I've had some arrows actually deflect off that breastbone. So I like a side shot into that secondary wing feather, straight up from the leg, or straight away. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And again, put my decoys close. Wait for the time to draw. Don't get ahead of yourself. You don't have to hurry. Just wait for that turkey to be looking the other direction. And if he's strutting and he turns away from you, perfect time to draw. Bring your decoys in close. Your turkeys will be in close. And, practice with your bow sitting down on a chair, because most of the time in a blind, you're shooting sitting down on a chair. And I've had some people that have shot standing up all their life and then didn't realize that they shoot a little bit different when they're sitting down.
True.
And the other thing too, when you're practicing what you're going to hunt with. If you're wearing a hat, or if you're wearing gloves when you're turkey hunting, which you should be, make sure you're practicing wearing all those things as well.
So Rick, I think Ryan's got your bow here, to be honest, because he's throwing out an Easton arrow,
Easton axis.
I think your bow is literally right here. I think he took your bow. Ryan, go over a little bit about what you got on this thing, because it looks like it's got a bunch of gizmos and all sorts of wonderfulness.
Pretty much, it's the Matthew VXR 28. I shoot the spot hog single pin. I practice all the way up to 60 for deer. I'll never take a shot that far, but pretty much I got the Vapor Trail Gen 7 limb driven rest, and I got my 15-inch
Stabilizer bar there. Yep.
Yeah, stabilizer. And I got a 10-inch in the back, but I pretty well practice daily with this thing. Last year it was pretty much my max would have been 40 yards, but with COVID and everything, I did a lot of shooting this year, and I'm comfortable all the way to 60, 65 yards with this thing.
And what's the poundage draw on that you got?
This one is 68.4. Holding weight's like 14 point something.
Not bad.
And it's the best bow I've shot so far. Then I use Easton axis, 300 spine. I use any mechanical pretty much. Then Rage, Sever. Then I even use fixed blade, Muzzy Trocars.
So Ryan, Rick, what kind of tip would you give the audiences bow hunt? We'll just stick with bow hunting right now. That you'd give to the audience about turkey hunting and bows. Is there any kind of tip?
I mentioned this just a little bit ago, and it's a great tip, and I want to really emphasize this. First of all, patience. Have patience when you're a bow hunter. I like to hunt out of a blind. It gives you a huge advantage, and it's not something that you can just be running and gunning with as much. Okay, so be patient, number one. Mm-hmm. But number two, put your decoys close. This is the tip. Okay, put your decoys close. Get out in front of your window. Step off 7 to 8 steps, and put your Jake decoy facing you. And that's my tip. Bring them in close. You're so much more successful in harvesting those turkeys and actually recovering those turkeys if you're shooting them close, and because everybody can make that 10-yard shot. I mean, that's an easy shot to make. Now, there's excitement and there's this shaking going on and that kind of stuff, which can affect things. But for the most part, that 10-yard shot is a lot easier to take than a 20 or 30-yard shot on a turkey. Plus the fact that they don't have the time to react. So put your decoys in close. They're not going to see the blind. You don't have to brush them in. You can set them up in the open. Just try to keep the sunlight out of them and keep your movement to a minimum, and you'll be just fine.
So Rick, I'm gonna jump the gun here on this one. I know we were talking about bow hunting. Now let's talk about some scopes. Weekly special that we got going on around here.
And that's actually a scope that I've got on one of my guns, and I love that scope for a turkey hunter.
Yeah, it's great. It's a fixed power 4x32. We called it or deemed it the turkey reticle, but it's really just a diamond reticle that it's infrared. And the beauty part about this here, guys, and gals, is that it's $50. That's the special. The starting price is $99.99. With $50 off, you're looking at a $50 scope here. This is just downright incredible. All you literally got to do is just go to Bresser USA or Alpen Optics website and type in the search bar HS-00432. This baby will pop up. You enter it in the promo code when checking out, and whoo-wee, you got yourself a heck of a deal right here. You can't beat this.
Yeah, really, and the reason I like it, that diamond reticle, it's perfect. You just put it on the turkey's head and neck and squeeze the trigger. You've got to sight it in. And I think I mentioned this in the last episode or a couple ago. When you're sighting in a scope on a gun or a red dot, do it close up, within 10 yards and make your adjustments. And then because you'll have a pattern about, the size of a 50-cent piece. It's easier to adjust that. And then when you step off to 30 yards, you're dead on. But put that diamond reticle on the turkey's head and it's over.
So Rick, what's going on next week? What do we got in store?
Oh my gosh. I've got Ron Toth, who is one of our staff members from Pennsylvania. He is going to be on the show, and I'm hoping to be on. Now I'm going to be hunting. I'm going to be down in South Georgia this next week hunting. Oh boy. And we'll see whether or not I'm in I may be doing the show from a blind. We'll see. But
that'd be perfect.
Ron Toth will be on. He'll be talking about some Eastern hunting. He does a lot of just about everything out there. So he's a good advocate for the hunter. So, and he does a lot of kids stuff too. So,
all right, good deal. Guys, I'm glad everybody got to stick around for another great special edition with On the Hunt with Alpen Optics. Tune in next week for our great weekly special that we always do. See you guys again, and good luck hunting.
Take care. Good optics are a must for a hunter. The new Alpen Tetons. They're lighter, they're better in low light, excellent glass. You'll be hard pressed to find that glass for under $1,000. Everything that you would want in a pair of optics. I know what I'm looking for, and once I know what I'm looking for and find what it is, that's what I'm interested in buying. The bottom line is they're affordable, they're lighter, and they're great in low light. The new Alpen Tetons. Another deer coming out. Good optics are a must for a hunter, particularly binoculars, not only during hunting season, but times like this when it's time to start scouting. But there's one thing you need to do when you get your binoculars that a lot of people don't realize. You need to set them up for yourself. Everybody's eyes are a little bit different. And here's how I do it. It's simple and easy. Just take the binoculars and just kind of grab good focus on an object. And I go and put my hand over the left lens. The diopter ring, which is on the right side, I will go ahead and adjust that until that right eye is in focus. Once it is, I take the hand off the other side,
both eyes in focus, and you're ready to go. It's simple and easy, and it's a must that you do this before you go out and use them.